Okay, we're almost done with DNSSEC. Before we go, let's quickly talk about what it actually looks like in practice. How do you actually deploy DNSSEC in real life? One benefit that we haven't quite talked about yet is offline signature generation. This is a pretty important part of DNSSEC, so we'll mention it here. So far, we've been saying there's a name server, and it sends records, and it signs the records when they send them to you. But in reality, what can actually happen is we can generate the signatures ahead of time, and for whatever computer, whatever name server is sending records to users, they don't actually have to generate the signatures on demand. They can just serve all of those pre-generated signatures. So this has a couple of benefits. One benefit is efficiency. We don't have to generate a signature every single time a user requests it. That's slow. That can lead to denial of service attacks where a user tries to request a signature for lots of different domains. And if you're signing every domain on demand, you're going to run out of time and the server's going to crash. But instead, if you sign the records ahead of time and you store the signature itself and just serve the signature on request, you're saving some time. So generating signatures ahead of time is efficient and leaves us less vulnerable to denial of service attacks. Another big benefit to generating signatures offline is security. Remember, whatever name server we're thinking about is connected to the internet. In other words, this is a computer, it's connected to the internet, other people can contact this computer, and if this computer has a buffer overflow vulnerability or a web security vulnerability, someone could hack into that computer and steal the secret key. And once they steal the secret key, the whole name server is compromised. That's dangerous. We want to prevent that. So one way to prevent that is to not leave the secret key on the name server. What you do instead is take the secret key, go run off into your cabin in the woods. You're not connected to the internet. You're all by yourself. You generate all of the signatures by yourself using the private key without being connected to the internet. And then you go back to the name server, and you give the name server all of those pre-generated signatures. Now, the name server doesn't even have the secret key on it. So even if somebody hacked into the name server, they can't find the secret key. It's not there. They can't generate their own malicious records. They don't know the secret key. And that makes it more secure. So putting the private key on the name server so that it can sign things online, bad idea. Someone could steal the secret key. Instead, do offline signature generation, where someone offline does all the signature generating, and the name server that's constantly serving requests and talking to possibly malicious users is just sending a bunch of cached answers, and the signatures themselves provide the security. So even if someone hacks into the server, they can't generate any valid signatures. This is also nice for redundancy, so that you can have one offline computer generating all the signatures, and then you just upload all of those signatures to lots of copies of the name servers. This is how you get that redundancy that we saw earlier. So offline signature generation is a very good idea that basically all DNSSEC implementations nowadays use.